What's up everybody, Jordan here, back with another video. Harvest time continues, and today we're going to harvest some more barley. It is the morning right now. I just heard the auger kick on for unloading one of the semis. I unloaded the other one last night that we filled. Got some barley done yesterday, but some of it was a little bit green and not quite ready. We have some stuff ready on another field that we're going to head over to later today, maybe 11, 12 o'clock. Until then, we have a little bit of servicing to do, a couple of blades broken on the combine, trucks to unload, and things like that. So we'll get started over at the farm with that, and welcome back to another video. We've got a little bit of a rain cloud headed over us, and the weather app says it should be completely done at 9:40, 9:45, so it shouldn't affect much unless it downpours here, but we're gonna shut the trucks, the tarps, regardless, so we don't get things too wet. The tandem truck is getting unloaded first, actually, and then we gotta unload the Peterbilt semi after that. Well, everybody, things might be a little bit wet. I know I said in the intro we are going to combine at 11 or 12, but I don't think that's going to happen. If we do combine at all today, probably later in the day, and we might do some other stuff like some repairs and maybe cut some barley, possibly, maybe even disc. There's a lot of things that could be done today. Things are just a little bit wet. The first sample that we took from the tandem truck was right at 15%, which is pretty much the max that we want the moisture to be, in the 15 range. So we're hoping a little bit drier than that. The stuff that is kind of ready is kind of wet, and I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to knock some of that out or not. We'll see what this sample is, but that's from an older field, so it doesn't even matter as much for the plans today. But this combine here, the 9760, does have some blades to change, and I believe we need to even go to town and get some guards for the combine, so we have those on hand. Otherwise, we'll kind of play it by ear and see how dry things get by this afternoon. And maybe if we get a few hours of combining in this afternoon, it's kind of how it goes with harvest, kind of just waiting for the right opportunity to strike. And that's what we're gonna do today. Because stuff is kind of wet, I'm running into town actually to get some parts. There are a few repairs to do. My dad, maybe in the time lapse you saw how dirty his back was because he was on the ground this morning early replacing the starter in the blue tandem truck. I'm returning the starter core to Napa Auto Parts. That's the first thing I'm going to do. We also have to get more guards for the combines. It's pretty important, and there's a lot of weeds and rocky fields, so some blade protection, you know. I'm going to be doing that at John Deere, and then also trying to get a bearing for our auger that we need. So gonna do a few errands in town to get some parts that we might need this week. And you know, the weather looks pretty good, maybe minus tomorrow night for this week, so it's not a huge rush to get out in the field. We're not going to push it. We're on the wet side a little bit, so we're going to wait and see how it turns out today, but getting some other stuff done in the process. Stop one, John Deere. Stop number 2. All right, so the plan has changed a little bit. A lot of the barley around isn't quite ready to harvest yet. It tested a little bit on the wet side, a little bit more than we'd want, and a lot of the barley out there has some green patches in it. It has some parts that just don't look ripe enough, and that's an issue, even if it is getting drier. We went and looked at the wheat though, and the wheat looks like it could be ready. So we're actually gonna make a switch in at least one combine over to wheat, do a sample, see if the wheat is ready to go. We have some big fields that were planted a little earlier than some others that we could harvest. So we're gonna probably switch this combine, the 9760, over, or depending on the field we want to tackle, the 9610 is out near it already. Obviously don't want the barley and the wheat to mix very much, so we need to do some cleaning in the hopper to make sure those don't get mixed around. A little bit of work to do to make that switch over to wheat. It's kind of a pain, but if something's ready, we should probably harvest it, and we're gonna test out that wheat. So this is the inside of the 9760's hopper, and along with those little trap doors, this is the kind of stuff we need to clean out. A hose is pretty effective at cleaning it out, but we don't want to get the hopper all wet and taint our wheat sample. So I'm going to try to sweep it and I suppose do it that way. See if we can get some of this barley out of there, and then turn on the auger to get rid of it and hose out if we need to. The first wheat field, too wet. It was 15.1, and that's right on the edge. It's probably, because of how hot it is today, a little dry already by now, but it's just a little too wet to get into. But my dad took the 9760 over and also tried another field of wheat, which is testing in the combine at least of like 11, 12, something like that, which is plenty dry. We're gonna take the Kenworth out there for him to fill, and he's gonna get started combining some wheat. We have to clean out the 9610 over here like we did earlier with the 9760. Unfortunately, have to get itchy, get some barley out of here and make sure it's ready for wheat. But first off, we're gonna take this truck over there and get a ride back so we can keep harvesting. All right, everybody, we're not having a ton of success today. The wheat was dry, tested at 14. The combine moisture reader was saying 11 or 12 out there in the field, and just not super dry. There's some wet spots, some green spots, and it doesn't quite seem ready yet. The 9760's out there working through a couple different areas of a couple different fields to try to find a good patch of dry wheat, but I don't know if it's gonna go today. We've been kind of dinking around trying to find the right place to combine for the last 4 hours and haven't really had a lot of success. The other combine's ready now, just clean that one out of the barley, so we're ready to go on wheat at least tomorrow, if it ends up being tomorrow or the next day for harvest for that. But the barley's for sure not ready, so we're kind of making the switch to wheat officially up until we wait on that barley to turn. While I kind of wait out the combining situation and the more details, I'm going to unhook that auger. We're gonna go park it, and to do that I'll have to move the grain cart, and I'm gonna move that tractor to a different auger and put it on one of these 2 bins, which we'll use for wheat this year. So a little bit of a shuffling around to do to get the auger set up to unload trucks for wheat. That'll probably take some time, and it'd be good to get that set up. Instead of cleaning out the auger from barley and using the same one, we're just gonna use another auger, so we don't have to worry about cross contamination and things. So yeah, hopefully it goes smooth, but we're gonna adjust this auger and change it up for wheat. All right, got the auger all hooked up. We're ready to unload trucks for wheat, and the Kenworth semi is just about full out there in the field. Not gonna combine tonight or in this video. I feel like a parent that kept promising his child ice cream and just kept giving him peas instead. So I told you guys we were combining at the beginning. I never actually did it today in this video, but that's perfectly fine. We tested out a lot of areas, got some more info and intel on how the rest of the week will progress. The weather is going to be decent, so should be no problem to combine later in the week and next video. So wheat harvest will continue, I believe. We'll wait on barley a little bit, and I just got to go swap out the truck, and then I'm done for the day. So we're going to get the Kenworth home, bring out one of the tandem trucks to finish off the night, and harvest another time.